Once again, you are up front with Frank Rothstein on Sky's Crescent Radio, SKYES, crescentradio.com. Um, Saying hello to everybody today because I can. And it really is a beautiful day out. I woke up today a little earlier than usual, where it was nice and miserably cloudy looking. I saw a little raindrop on my fire escape. So I said, under my blanket I go. And that's where I stayed for a little while longer. And then I woke up and I had some sun. No birds singing in my ear in my fire escape, but I had the sun. And I knew it was going to be an iced coffee type of day. Cheers. And that's what's going on in the world. Show's over. See you next week. Uh, we do have a lot to talk about. I've noticed a lot this week. Well, let me get to the comedy portion first because I can always start with a laugh. Of course, I was reading from a few different sites that 29% of the GOP, of the Republicans, actually believe that Donald Trump will be reinstated in August. That's it. Joe's out, Don's in, things go back to the way a third of the group would like them, but really it's only 29%. And I really think 29% of people need ice packs and a good drink. But who am I? I'm not a therapist. Uh, I'm looking at some of these stories. What have we been talking about? What has the news been talking about? Which really, it's interesting. A lot of the news this week is on critical race theory. Critical race theory. To the point that an Iowa governor signs a bill banning the theory, rails against discriminatory indoctrination, and that's in her school systems. Okay, she signed a thing. What is this? I've got a teacher I like this word, posh, a word I never use. A posh New Jersey prep school quits over critical race theory. Uh, oh, 1 second. And this is, I don't know if you can hear it. 1 second. I'm doing some tech stuff here because if you go on the computer on your internet, I don't know if you can hear this or not because I'm going through, well, there's Jade Zabrick, if you could see her in a little screen up there. Wave to the people, Jade. And she has all the tech buttons and we're going through her system. So I'm not really always sure if you can hear what's going on within my computer at my location. So most news outlets or most places you go when you look at a story or whatever you're looking at, you have a little video attached, whether it's an advertisement or something, and it automatically starts playing. This is annoying, but that's another story. Anyway, I was saying that the Iowa governor signed the bill banning critical race theory. There's a teacher who quit. And there's just a lot of that going on in the country this week. And critical race theory, in the simplest of terms that I can put it at the moment, is pretty much in schools separating the kids, the way I'm reading about it, separating the kids from white to everybody else. And then in the end, teaching everyone that kids who are white are wrong. I don't know if I'm getting the right word across because it's really a long, complicated subject here. But the teaching is that pretty much if first they're teaching the white kids to believe that they are the oppressor. You're talking about kids in school. And anybody else are the ones being oppressed. And this is what's going on in school. And that is the 2-sentence version. You can Google, you can look up and just type in critical race theory. You'll see it on Wikipedia. You'll see it in a lot of other places. And not all teachers want to teach that. Not all schools, not all, the governor certainly of Iowa doesn't want that. Yeah, it's what strikes me as incredible is that as long as I can remember, and I don't mean just over the last, I don't know, 4 years, not even last year, 4 years, everyone's, I'll use the word whining for inclusion And it usually starts by exclusion. So you're going to take kids who maybe don't even know any better, or they're just beginning to understand, and branch them off and teach them how to be separate from everywhere else. And I could be wrong about this, but this is how I'm reading it and I'm coming to understand it. And I don't want to separate kids. I don't want anyone separated and learning different things and learning that anyone is right and anyone is wrong just by nature of what they look like. That was the problem to begin with. I'm looking at it, it says, what story is this? New York City psychoanalyst calls whiteness incurable parasitic-like condition. Damn, that's pretty big. A white New York City psychoanalyst is under fire after publishing a report decrying his skin color as a malignant parasitic-like condition without a permanent cure. That's according to Dr. Donald Moss, and a published author who teaches at New York Psychoanalytic Institute, a place I never heard of, and he published something called On Having Whiteness. All right. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm completely ignorant, and I'm sure I am in part, of course. But just seems to me that separating is not teaching. This is the good guy. This is the bad guy. This is not teaching. I just don't see it. I know that a lot of things in history are not taught as readily in schools now as they used to be, but somehow I just see, I don't know, problems creeping up. It must be something to it if a teacher's quitting and the governor is banning. And I'm reading a lot of other stories, a few other stories anyway this week about it, and that's just in the last week. And again, I could be wrong. Someone write into me at upfrontfrank@gmail.com and let me know if you think I am. Leave a comment on my show page, Upfront with Frank Rothstein. Send a letter to the station telling you think this host is wrong at skiescrescentradio@gmail.com. And again, I am not for separating. Nobody wanted separation, segregate, anything like that early on. I don't see why it works now. Taking a perfectly good sized classroom, depending on the size of the head count of the kids, and separating and saying oppressor, oppressed. No, not in my book. I don't see it. At least I won't do it. I am not going to look at someone and try to convince anyone I'm better than them. I don't want anyone to help. I don't want anyone trying to convince anyone else that I am the reason for their plague in life, their problems in life, when certainly if I do not know them, I just, that's not my type of a thing. Now, again, I have really extremely modified and simplified a very large topic that originally came out of Marxism and was adjusted along the way. But that is what's being debated in schools around the country now. And what did the teacher have to say? How did she put it? This is a white teacher, and she's saying Dana Stengel Plow accused the Dwight Englewood School in Bergen County of forcing students and faculty to embrace a single set of beliefs, choking off free spirit speech in the process. The school's ideology requires students to see themselves not as individuals, but as representatives of a group, forcing them to adapt a status of privilege or victimhood. This is a teacher who quit because she refused to go along with that. Okay, whether you see her right or wrong, she's sticking to her beliefs and she has given up her job doing it. Iowa, again, what did they say in Iowa? The governor. Discriminatory indoctrination. And that was signed by Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, a Republican who signed House File 802 into law on Tuesday. This is what she believes. And yeah, it's not my thing anyway. Somebody else likes it. It's just not my thing. Next story. Next thing going on. Let's see. Jay, do you have any thoughts on that? Anything you want to share? Okay. I'm reading a thing in the Times. It says young creators are burning out and breaking down. These are the people on TikTok and on social media. The media, the what they call creators. They create the content that goes on their accounts, their pages, their whether it's YouTube, TikTok. It's not an easy job. I mean, it's not like just pointing your camera at something, taking a picture, and posting it, which you could. If you walk around the block, walk up to the next a few blocks away, you'll find something interesting enough. But no, they are actually creating something, and they have to be able. If you're on TikTok, you have to be able to convey your message in roughly 30 seconds. And that's difficult to do because you don't just shoot everything in 30 seconds. You're not filming every last thing in 30 seconds. You're filming as long as it takes for you to get what you need. And then you have to edit the footage, and come up with a good looking 30-ish, 25, 30-ish, maybe a little more if it works out with you, depending on how it works out. But you have to get, so say, a 30-second video the right way the first time, the first time you edit. And it's a difficult job. And what are we going to do? What are we going to, whether these are kids who walk around to different interesting places and want to show it to you, where they're filming other people, they got to find the right people, the right things that look interesting to them and they think you'd be interested in watching it. If they're singing a song, if they're doing a magic trick. And if you look at TikTok, you'll see a lot of people doing a lot of things. Magic, card tricks, regular magic. There's somebody in trouble outside, as you can hear. Yeah. Keep going, keep going. There's all sorts of stuff. There's a woman I follow who she owns a 175-pound tortoise named Tiptoe. I don't know if you've ever heard of Tiptoe, but he's about 20-year-old tortoise. Seems lovable. And every day, every other day, she has to go to her parents' house where he lives because this giant turtle is 20 years old. She was a kid when they got him, and this turdette, little tordette, and now it's almost 200 pounds. And she has moved out, so every day she has to go and feed the tortoise, and she shoots a video, which takes a while because good luck getting a big tortoise to do what you want every time you want it, and then you have to edit it down, and that is a lot. That really is a lot. So yeah, I could see why people are burning out. And in this particular thing, I am looking at 5 kids, not kids. They look to be around 20, 20, a little over maybe. It says lately it's been hard for Jack Inanen, Inanen, 22-year-old TikTok star from Toronto, to create content. I feel like I'm tapping a keg that's been empty for a year, spending hours of shooting, editing, storyboarding, engaging with fans, setting up a brand, deals with balance and balancing the many other responsibilities that come with being a successful content creator has taken its toll. And it has, because essentially with your phone or a small camera, you have now become your own production company. And a lot of times you don't have a support system. There is no staff. And it's interesting. It really is. Some of the I don't watch every video, but some of them are pretty good. You find what you like to watch and you keep up. Like I said, I watch Tiptoe. Um, so yeah, a lot of people suffer from burnout. But then again, a lot of people in Hollywood on Broadway, they suffer from burnout. How many different plays can you write in a week? How many different things can you do in a short span of time? And I'm talking about grown adults. And it happens very, very easily. You know, um, so this is just what's going on. People on the internet are tired. because they're doing this, and it's difficult. And especially during pandemic, for a year when they were stuck in their house, unless something exciting is happening outside your window, you're in the house trying to do this. So yeah, I fully understand. Really, this can be difficult. So that's what's going on in the world of TikTok. What else is going on? Okay. I got this from June 12th. I got this from the New York Post. And this says, the headline reads, BLM infighting gets ugly as members blast national group amid spending controversy. And this says here, dissident members of the original 10 Black Lives Matter chapters are demanding more accountability and transparency from the Black Lives Matter global network in the wake of revelations about co-founder Patrisse Cullors' lavish spending. Cullors announced that she would resign from her post as the executive director of the organization in late May, and that's over the controversy from the group's finances. She says she's been the spotlight for lavish spending on real estate, as revealed by the Post, including a 1.4 million LA home, or almost $1.5 million home, $1.5 million home in Los Angeles. That she is encircled with a $35,000 electric fence. So that's the basic of what's going on right now within the organization. That has nothing to do with the cause, with the belief of the individual. Because still outside my window every now and then, you can hear a short protest, people marching from wherever they're marching from down to City Hall and whatever happens there. So that doesn't take away from the cause or the belief. That is simply wanting to know what's going on at corporate, which happens in a lot of different companies. It really does. It happens a lot of times. The owners of a large company of any kind are doing really well, and everybody else is, wondering why aren't we getting some. It happens. It happens. It's not. It's not an uncommon thing, but that is what's happening over there. Uh, I've been down in the village, in Greenwich Village, as of late, and in Washington Square Park. For those of you who don't know, I'm in New York City. In Greenwich Village, we have Washington Square Park, a nice park, not the biggest, but a nice park, and it has these huge arches. It's where NYU is, and it's a pretty cool spot. You know, always has. On the weekends in the nice weather, you hear all the old rockers getting together to sing with their friends and whoever's doing what else during the day. But at night, things have been different because as of late, all the drug addicts are back there. The homeless are going there. Crime is coming up. Matter of fact, I don't even use this word, but from the New York Post, it says Washington Square provocateur. There's a word I never use. Taunts neighbors, you should move. If you're in the downtown area and you're hearing loud music and you don't like it, you should move. This is not somebody who lives around here, as far as I know. But okay, this is not somebody who actually lives in Queens. This was told to the people locals by a guy named David Ortiz who's 28, and of course he's having his party now. I'm sure he's making some decent money by throwing these parties, because to go through all this, you're not doing it for free. But now I don't care if people have a party in the park. I grew up, there was party in the parks, there was party on the beaches, that's what it was. Except what's going on now at some local spots. One second, where did I get it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? There is we have the Washington Square Diner around here, which now has hired security. And that is because of all the addicts around 6th Avenue, through the park. And just the other day, a 70-something-year-old cook, or whoever he was who worked there, was thrown through the wind through the glass window by some addict, by somebody, homeless, whatever he was, who then ran back to the park and staff chased him and got him, and the police came and arrested him. And the older guy, he's lucky he had some cuts on the back of his head. Lucky it wasn't worse. But this is sort of what's changing now in this area of Manhattan. So much so, it's going to change even more because the city, I know it's being, they're trying to fight it, but New York City under Mayor de Blasio would like to put not just a homeless shelter, but a 200-bed shelter of sorts facility for the convicts just getting out, the addicts, just 200 guys. 200. It's a male. I believe it's a male shelter on Worcester Street, just above Canal. So if you're walking along Canal and you make the right turn on or left turn onto Worcester Street, you're going to see it looks like a little garage structure. Pretty cool little building. It's a garage. I wouldn't mind living in it. Looks nice. But they're going to convert it. It's big enough to convert. 200 beds, and with the rules of that as far as I know, they have to be out in the morning and they have to be in by a certain time as a curfew. But that means in an area where people spend fortunes on their lofts, on to raise their kids and all that and all that other stuff with high property taxes, high rents for business, that there will be addicts, and I'm not even sure what the status of the felons are, whether they're completely released on their own or if they're in like a halfway type of situation. So I really don't know exactly that part of it, but there will be 200 people inside this facility in the Soho-ish area. Not sure the date. It's being fought. It's being debated. So, you know. What else is going on? I was reading this on the 11th. I get a lot of my stuff from the New York Post, mostly because it covers a lot of other news outlets. They just pick up a lot of other things. It says petition slams James Corden's "Spill Your Guts" bit as anti-Asian racism. I don't know if you ever watched James Corden's show on the Late Late Show. This is a bit where he takes his celebrity guest, depending on who it is, or how often they want to run the segment. How they don't want it to get old. They want to, how often they schedule it, and depending on the guest of the night. You see James Corden and his guest sitting at a table full of food, but not just food. It could be anything. Just picture if I told you, it's like, I don't know if it's what kind of a question. It's like a truth or dare or whatever it is, however he structures this game, because I don't watch it that often. But the penalty is if you don't want to go along with what he's asking, is you have to eat something off of this table. So let's just say something like a bowl of puree, like duck snot, something eyes, duck, chicken eyes, cow eyes. I'm not even sure if he has the exact name of everything accurate. Some of it could be to be gross on television. But the critics are petitioning James Corden to retire the "Spill Your Guts" segment on the Late Late Show, which they deem culturally offensive to Asians. Not only is this segment incredibly culturally offensive and sensitive and insensitive, but it also encourages anti-Asian racism. And it has over 12,000 signatures on change.org. Yeah, what do they call this here? Fetal duck egg, 100-year-old eggs, chicken feet are regularly eaten by Asian people. Well, chicken feet are eaten by a lot of people, not just Asian people. 100-year-old duck eggs, fetal duck egg. What? Indeed, says balut, or embryonic duck egg, is prized in the Philippines, while many southern Chinese Epicures consider 100-year-old eggs and chicken kickers part of a complete breakfast. Okay, I got it. So do you. So, but this segment has been on for the longest time. And yeah, some of these dishes, well, at least I guess to the American eye and maybe some other eyes around the world, some of these dishes do sound disgusting. I'm glad somebody eats them. I think that's great. If you want to eat them, that's great. I was never one to eat chicken feet, but I've seen them in the stores. I've seen people buy them. Someone's enjoying them, and go to it. Not everything has to be taken so seriously. You got to sort of have a sense of humor about one thing or another. If you don't like the idea that you think they're making fun of you because you're Asian heritage, Asian descent, laugh at the fact that look at somebody else having to eat this and look at the look on their faces. And I would be laughing over that. I would be laughing over that. I laugh at people when they make fun of what we call Jewish food. You want to have some fun with people? Put chopped liver in front of them. We don't have sausage. Jews don't have sausages the way you think you're getting them when you go into the pork store. We call it stuffed derma, which is stuffed cow intestine. It'll look a lot different, I promise you. But yeah, there's sometimes it's okay to laugh. Otherwise, you will make yourself crazy trying to right the world of everything that people are laughing at or having fun with. He's from England. Make fun of British stuff. He won't care. Make fun of British food. Make fun of people who eat haggis. Make fun of people who eat anything they want. It's not that important. Not everything you see is that important. Sometimes you just need to laugh. And I can't help but stress that enough. And not enough people do. And yes, there are times when I hear things that are anti-Semitic that I know are offensive, and sometimes I hear it where I know it's okay to laugh. You don't just have to be in a circle of your own of your people, so to say. Yeah, I don't need to be in a circle of people who are Jewish to sit there and laugh at something that something else someone else is saying or doing or refusing to do. I just don't have to. It's okay if you don't also. Lighten up. What else? Hey, listen, everyone. Do you remember the movie Natural Born Killers? Oh, yes. Mickey and Mallory. Well, I think I found them in real life. And I got this teen couple charged with killing girl's dad laughed about murder in a deranged video. It says a teenage girl and her boyfriend charged with killing her father in Las Vegas, laughed about murdering somebody, then having lots of sex in a deranged cell phone video they recorded while still on the lam. I use On the Run. I haven't used lam in a long time either. All right. Says the footage was obtained by KLAS and it's being used as evidence against 18-year-old Aaron Guerrero and 16-year-old girlfriend Sierra Halseth, excuse me, Halseth, and the daughter of a former Nevada state senator. And yeah, they were on YouTube laughing about it, talking about it. Look at loving gaze they have for each other. Anyway, they're going to jail. And if you remember, Natural Born Killers, yeah, Dad was played in the movie by Rodney Dangerfield, and they killed him. He went on the run. And if you never saw the movie, yeah, watch it. It's a really good movie. It really is. What else is going on? What else going on? What was I reading? A judge has halted President Biden's $4 billion financial aid program for farmers of color. I'm reading this for the first time with you. It says a federal judge has put the brakes on a nearly $4 billion Biden administration effort intended to provide debt relief to farmers of color, noting that the program doesn't even consider financial status of applicants, just their race, which means farmers who are white who applied are being denied for the most part. That's what it sounds. That's what it's reading as. The relief program launched in March under Biden's American Rescue Plan Act paid up to 120% of loans for farmers or ranchers who are Black, Hispanic, Latino, American Indian, Alaskan Native, Asian American, or Pacific Islander. The $3.8 billion initiative drew an April lawsuit in Wisconsin federal court by 12 white farmers and ranchers from 9 states who said they were excluded from the program due to their race. Judge William Griesbach, Griesbach, I'm just pronouncing it the way I see it, issued a temporary restraining order Thursday halting the program while the case is decided, with the judge pointing out that the United States Department of Agriculture, provided the debt relief without actually considering the financial circumstances of the applicant, and there was no evidence of intentional discrimination by the agency in recent agriculture subsidies or pandemic relief efforts. The only consideration in determining whether the farmer or rancher's loans should be completely forgiven is the person's race or national origin. Plaintiffs are completely excluded in participation in the programs based on their race. So that's going to go to a bigger court, a bigger case, and we'll see what's going on. That's the first time I just took the story, put it on my list of things to read. I really hadn't read it yet, which I should, but sometimes I save it all for you. And that's what's going on in farm country. Well, we had more shootings. This came out of Reuters originally. You know, there's about 268 shootings in America since the beginning of the year. A lot of them in New York. But overall, 268 shootings. Yeah, so that's what's been going on. There's been a lot of shootings in New York over the weekend, a few of them. One's too many. Says officials are worried that the U.S. could face an increased summer bloodshed after mass shootings in 3 states left 2 people dead and 30 wounded Friday night into Saturday morning. I know that people want to defund the police, whatever that means. I personally am not a believer of defunding the police. I wouldn't mind spending things a little more wisely. I wouldn't mind spending the same money on retraining. Certainly, I would not mind keeping the police force. If I was the commissioner, I want my officers in better shape so they have greater options when dealing with someone out, when they're on patrol, when they're out during this shift. As I was saying a few months ago, there was a video that went all over the place. An officer had shot a woman that I guess I forgot why he pulled her over, but it became apparent to him that her bag needed to be searched. And she jumped back into the car and pulled the gun. Make no mistake. First, she ran around the car, ran away from him, ran back in front, ran to the back, around the passenger side, around the front, back to the driver's side. And he sort of caught up. But by the time he did, she was pulling a gun out and he shot her. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is because I saw the full video, not just dash cam, not just his body cam. I saw the dash cam. This guy was a house. You see a lot of police officers out there who are not really in shape to do what they need to do. Maybe they had to go over a wall when they first went out for the police force, when they first went to training. But I don't know if they could do it now. Matter of fact, I don't know if they could run down the block now. But back to the larger picture is, all I'm hearing is defund the police, 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 police. And as I was reading before, in the Greenwich Village area, an old man's being thrown through a window because some addict goes into the store. And again, all incidents that I'm talking about can happen on any given day. We know that. But more and more with the police, I'm going to guess feeling unable to do their job to the best of their abilities. Some have retired. A lot of them retired overall around the country. Whatever the deal may be, I would not defund the police. Matter of fact, all the people who want to defund police, get rid of police, sue police, curse them at length. I watch all these videos. I can't believe the way people are talking to officers who simply say the words, "Are you all right?" Um, and then you're wrong. I'm not saying all police are angels. Oh no, 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 no. Not all cops are angels. But if I'm elected mayor, New York City, I'm going to give you just what you want. I'm going to give all the police, every last one of them, a week's vacation. I'm going to leave all of you without police for a week. I'm going to leave everybody who thinks that life will be just great if you leave everybody to their own thoughts and devices. With all the things you see in the news now with the police on the job, I'm going to give them all a week off. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if there's no one to come when you really do need help. Let's see if somebody who really is trying to help you, when it looks like you need something, whether you're trying to change a flat tire on the side of the road, whether it's you look a little bit, you're walking alone and you look a little bit iffy and they want to know if they can help, if whatever the deal may be. But let's see what happens if they're not there. That's a good social experiment. Everyone seems to like that, a social experiment. I promise you, somebody who says defund the police is not going to say, where is the police? I know, of course, I'm not describing the same exact thing, but sometimes I believe in giving people just what they want because they want it. So that's my thought. That's my theory. If they work in the subways where everyone's crying about crime, if they take tolls, or if they work in the regular police force, if they, well, I'm going to have to take away also the ticket writers, the Department of Traffic Police, because without, they'll just become victim to anybody knowing they couldn't get, who just doesn't want to get a ticket. And yeah, but meters, I'll leave them for parking meters only. And yeah, that's it. Everyone's off for a week. It sounds stupid, I know. It sounds really dumb that I'm saying that, but sometimes you want that social experiment every now and again. Let's find out. Because somehow I believe that, the old saying of be careful what you wish for, you just may get it. Okay. That's just what I was thinking about. Wow, the hour is flying by fast. Yes, it is. What else is going on in the world? Away from anybody of anything and police and all that. I'm just reading an article on CNBC. This is actually from April, but I found it interesting. It says older millennials made it to management. Now they're wondering if they even want to be the boss. Well, there you go. Be careful what you wish for. You just may get it. As millennials begin to turn 40, uh, CNBC Make It has launched Middle-Aged Millennials, a series of exploring how the oldest members of the generation have grown into adulthood amidst the backdrop of the Great Recession, COVID, COVID pandemic, student loans, stagnant wages, and the rising cost of living. And it seems that people are having trouble. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you grow up. People have trouble. Says millennials have gotten a bad rap since they started entering the workforce. They've been stereotyped as lazy and entitled employees who will trade company loyalty for the ability to leapfrog into a management position they haven't earned. They want to work for a values-driven company with a casual dress code. But the reality is that many millennials went to college at a time when education costs soared and graduated into financial recession that gave them limited career opportunities to pay off their student loans. Yet, yes, they did, let alone save for financial milestones. And this is just an article I found on CNBC's website. And that is exactly what happened. A lot of people At least the way I've come to understand it, all went into a tech way, computer. And there's not always a long-term projection. Keep in mind that technology changes very, very fast as of late, over the last few years. Matter of fact, if you're out in the workforce for a year, 2 years, and all of a sudden somebody's graduating school tomorrow, not only will they work for cheaper because they're younger and they're just coming into the company, they probably know one or two things that you don't. And as far as the casual dress code, well, yes, sometimes. I mean, I like to be casual, but I would know. I mean, I don't mind wearing jeans and a shirt. I certainly wouldn't look like I'm coming off the beach, and I really don't like working from home. Nobody should go to work in their bathrobe, in their big, whatever there is they're wearing in their house. But that is what's happening as of late. Matter of fact, I've mentioned this before, and I talk to people about this all the time. Remember the show Dirty Jobs? Dirty Jobs was hosted by a guy named Mike Rowe. And he has a website called MikeRoweWorks.com. And he was the thing of the show was he was the apprentice for every job. He went to work for everybody doing anything, jobs that other people would not want to do. I saw him making glass. He was making marbles. I saw him making glass, and his cameraman got hot like marbles. You're not just talking about glass; they were melting. They were making the glass, and it fell on his cameraman's shoe as I'm watching the shoe burst into flames. He would go. He was scraping barnacles off of a buoy in the ocean. He was doing things on poles so high. I don't like heights. I don't want to go 8 feet in the air. This guy, you could skydive off of it, but that's what he was doing. As he was explaining many times over the years, is that there are plenty of good jobs um, in the skills labor, in plumbing, electric. And I don't mean plumbing where you have to go into everybody's toilet and, I mean installation plumbing. You're putting up a building, they need a plumber. They need electricians, big machine operations, truck driving, things that pay good money that the country really needs. They really do need. And you're not as easily replaced when you're operating big machinery. Now, a lot of companies will give you a raise or two, then let you go because there's always some kid who will work for less. And it's different. It's different. I could see why the millennials in that age range, they're 40 now, why they're having a problem because it's not what they thought. For a lot of people, it's not what you thought. I'm sure many millennials are quite happy, but for a lot of people, it's not what you thought it was going to be. All of a sudden, you have become responsible. All of a sudden, there are people working under you, and you have to be in charge, and you have to do what you got to do. And yeah, okay, well, sorry, millennials, but again, you got what you wanted. Hopefully, you're doing well, making all the money, and settle in. It can be fun. What else is going on? Well, I'm looking. This is another case of a gun. Remember last week I was reading about the mom who got into the road rage thing. Gave the finger to some guy who wound up shooting into her car, killing the kid. This week I've got a Texas boy, 9 years old, accidentally shot by father during alleged road rage incident. It says a 9-year-old Houston kid was in critical condition after he was mistakenly shot in the chest by his father, who had pulled out his gun during a road rage incident. Okay. The boy was in the car being driven by his dad around 11 p.m. Friday in the Fifth Ward when the man believed he was being followed by another vehicle. And he says brandished. He pulled his gun. This all came from ABC News. Once they arrived home, the dad tried to put his gun back into the holster, but it accidentally went off and struck the kid in the chest. The kid is 9, so he's not in the baby seat anymore. He's probably in the front seat. Well, if you're right-handed driving the car and you're putting it back in the holster, the odds are it's going to your left. So I'm going to have to guess that the dad was left-handed crossing his body, and this is an accident that happened. It's the only way I can imagine this happening. The child was rushed by his father to the hospital where he's in critical condition, but expected to survive. Again, again, I think people need proper training to have a gun. I think you need to be, you're going to have a gun. I think you need like, I would say 100 hours of supervision. I don't know if I have a kid in the car and I have a gun and I'm, you know, maybe rather if the child is next to me, I may put the gun down on the floor for a second until the kid's out of the car, and I can do it when he's not next to me. I'm sure this. Well, I know this was an accident. Dad's not looking to shoot his kid, but look how easy it became to pull the gun out because he thought somebody was following. Okay, well, no charges are going to be filed, but again, another accident, and people need to be careful. Having the right to have something does not mean you really know how to have something. Um, be careful. Okay, what else is going on? Well, we all know it's Pride Month in New York City. This came from June 13th. It says police ban from the New York City Pride Parade welcomed at Long Island festivities. Again, don't want the police around. These will probably be the same people who call the police when something goes wrong and they need help. Certainly, if there's a problem wherever it is you are and they come, they're going to more than likely help you. I don't, I just, I have a lot of respect for police. On the most, let's take the most neutral scenario, a traffic stop, a simple traffic stop, okay? Middle of the night, you don't know who it is, you just traffic stop. You pulled over, you get out of the car, you walk, you don't know what you're walking into. You don't know that. I mean, we see a lot of videos where someone pulls out a gun, they're starting to shoot. And I don't mean someone who's driving who's black, white, whatever. Someone's drunk, someone just doesn't want to. Maybe they got something else going on, they want the police to find out. Either way, people pull guns, they pull shit all the time. And you see the police walk into an apartment for whatever one problem or another. They don't know what they're walking into. And it's not an easy job. If it was easy, I would have done it. And I didn't want to do it. But okay. They're welcome in Long Island. I believe, I'm not quite sure when the parade, whatever. But okay. There you go. That's what's going on with the police this week. A lot of it. What is it? 5:50. Perfect time to talk about this. This one I'm going to take a little water with because I'm taking a little water. See this piece of paper? I don't know if you can see the names on it. Doesn't matter if you can read it or not. You see that piece of paper? That is a list of now 11 people that I know or knew, not necessarily close personal friends, fortunately no family members, people I knew growing up, someone few that I worked with over time, some I just knew in passing. 11 people who have committed suicide. And two, that little thing over there where I intervened. The one on the bottom committed suicide on Friday. His name was, he went by I don't know how many different names, called himself an artist, used to see him around town drawing hearts all over the street. His name was Hash Halper. That's the way I know. Before I even go any further, I'm going to remember a line from the movie Goodfellas. You remember they're talking about, all the wives are getting together, makeup and manicures, and they're talking about someone who's having a tough time. And one of the wives says, sure, if something happens, you automatically make them out to be saints. I'm not making Hash out to be a saint. Matter of fact, he and I did not get along at all. He was a half a homeless guy. He had family around where he could stay. He also had a lot of problems. Needed to be medicated in the worst way. And certainly he was not afraid to experiment with one drug or another. And as of late, I heard that he was experimenting with heroin by sniffing it, plus whatever else he was doing. Anyway, on Friday, if you saw a news bit on local news or in the New York Post, that he took off all his clothes and jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, again, Hash and I never got along and we never liked each other, but this guy needed help. He needed as much help as there was possibly able to be given to someone else. An otherwise very intelligent guy, but he had his share of problems. And sometimes I know you just can't help people. Sometimes people miss the signal. I've often said that three things are happening. One is people run out of ideas. The second one is somebody missed the signal. And the third can be no one was fighting for them when they could no longer fight for themselves. With this particular guy, I'm betting it's all three. I know as of recent he was staying with one family member, but I'm not sure what happened with that. As of late, I've heard that he was walking around with no shoes, filthy and all that. So I guess because he was the type of guy who could burn any good deal. You help him out, he'll find a way to screw himself out of it. He always did. But somehow, whatever happened with this guy, one day he was walking around with just his pants. And by the time he went from Greenwich Village down to the Brooklyn Bridge, he was now naked. And they found him in the East River. And I would say I'm looking at it. I'm looking at a piece of paper with 11 names. There should be a 12th. Unfortunately, it happened so long ago. I just don't remember her name, so I keep a question mark on there because I know there's really 12. Um, you have to watch out for people you care about. You really do. Even if they seem happy, even if they're buying the drinks the night before. Sometimes you have to be able to risk everything to help them. You have to be able to risk their friendship, their love, piss them off, do something, get them off that track if you know that something's wrong. I was talking about this with somebody one time. Actually, I was talking to my mother about it one day. I forgot who we were talking about that had killed themselves. It was probably someone in the news. And what is the about missing the signal? Oh, it was an old family friend that is on that list. People missing the signal. Well, what would be a signal if it were me? Yes, I do give flashlights as gifts and phone chargers as gifts. But if you saw me giving away all of my flashlights and all of my things, if you saw me giving away my bracelets, know something is wrong. I don't mean if I gave away one, someone who I care about likes it, okay, it's yours. I mean, if you saw me giving away my stuff, if you know someone is doing something that they would not ordinarily do, something they do not normally do, something is wrong. And ask. It could be harmless. It could be a sign of deep trouble. Now, again, this guy, whatever happened, he couldn't be helped, or I always thought that someone should have sued for conservatorship over him and had him taken and locked in and helped out and medicated and do the best they could with him. Try to help him, whether he likes it or not. Because, people shouldn't get lost that way. And certainly they're not supposed to be looking over a bridge stark naked saying, I have no, I'm out of ideas. There's nothing left. God. And that is just, keep an eye on your family and friends. Listen to what they're saying. Don't just assume because they say something different than usual that they're just babbling or oh, you sound like you sound crazy. Yeah, okay, they sound crazy. I mean, just pay attention. You never know who, and that could be anybody. Could be anybody. If you see somebody who is normally cheap suddenly picking up all kinds of dinner checks, something is wrong. Yeah, that people doing what they would not normally do is, to me, is a good indicator, is a good sign. If nothing else, sit and talk, see what's going on. They may open up to you. And if you think something's going on and you're not there, send the police. Just send the police. They call it the wellness check. Someone go to their house, bang on the door, see what's going on. Because nobody should have to do that. Anyway, it is now 5:58. This hour is done. Um, so that's the story. I will see everybody next week. Okay. Jade has a gig coming up. Where are you playing at, Jade? You have a show coming up? Where's the Oculus? Okay, I never even. I was thinking of a club. Something opened up. Okay. Oh, you go. You're going. Okay, you're going. Okay, I got it. You're playing. I got it. You're back. You're back to work. That's cool. Okay. Where at? We're in. Oh, you got. Okay, that's great. That's great. There you go. Follow that. Follow the train walkers. Go to their website, trainwalkers.com. Go to jadezabrickmusic.com. They'll tell you all about it. And go take the train and see them do their thing. Okay, with that, everybody, it's been fun sitting with you, talking about all the craziness in the world, whether you agree with it or not. At least we're talking about it. I'll see everybody next week.